Association of Black Securities and Investment Professionals hosted a roundtable discussion in Sandton last night. The debate was centered around the establishment of a black bank in South Africa.
Now, some believe a black bank tailored specifically for the black market would provide a much-needed alternative to mainstream banking channels. And the panel included Reserve Bank Deputy Governor Kuben Naidu, African Bank CEO Basani Maluleke, and executives from the Financial Services Board.
ANC Treasurer General Paul Mashatile was the keynote speaker, and he said the ANC discussed the state bank during the elective conference.
Since I've been in the ANC, I know that when I go to the conference, one of the commission will be organizational renewal. Another one will be economic transformation. And then we debate. So we have already debated the issue of the state bank. But we have not done it. Even in December, we debated it, and somebody says, okay, why don't you take the post bank? Make the post bank a state bank because they've got infrastructure and so on. Okay, fine. So somebody must do it.
And the president of the Association of Black Securities and Investment Professionals believes they are making an effort to revive the dream of a black bank.
There has to be a deliberate policy position to help license black banks. The government should take a firm stand in helping the formation and licensing of black banks. We need a black bank to cater for the needs of the marginalized.
And the Association of Black Securities and Investment Professionals President, SibongisenI Mbatha, joins us on the line. Good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mbatha. Just if you were to outline the outcomes of the roundtable discussion with investment professionals in the sector and what the desired outcomes were.
Hi, good morning, and good morning to the listeners and viewers at home. Look, we had a successful event yesterday, thanks to all the participants, including the professionals in the banking sector. When we conceptualized this discussion, we wanted to achieve certain outcomes, and which are, what are the next steps that we must take to realize this long-held view that there has to be a black-owned or black-owned bank in South Africa. As you know, after 24 years of democracy, we really can't point to one bank that we can truly say is black-owned. We had African Bank, which is now currently owned by a consortium of banks, plus the PIC, plus the Reserve Bank. We have VBS, which is under curatorship. Those are the only two that we could point to, but they are struggling. So we thought we should come together and say, what must be done? There were diverse views yesterday from the panel, but there was one a strong view that was loudest, and that was that the time has come and the time is now. We've got to then look at options and say, where are we going to go from here? Which bank currently can we target, or should we form a new bank altogether? We have an option. We have an African bank which can be built into a black-owned bank. We have a VBS which can be fixed and then built into a black-owned bank. We also have other banks that are currently on sale, for example, the Mercantile Bank, which can be bought by a black consortium. So we need the will. The National Empowerment Fund is also already doing a lot of things that we expect a black-owned bank to do, which is to fund small and medium enterprises and allow them to grow. So those are the options on the table that emerged from yesterday's discussion.
All right, Mr. Mbatha, we'll get into the nitty-gritties and maybe the timelines as well, but just look at the criticism around introducing a new player, primarily a black bank in the financial sector, that this will destabilize the five dominating banks. What is your view to that?
No. It cannot destabilize. Why are people scared of a black-owned bank which has to be supported by business and by government? There is no destabilization. This thing of huge market concentration in the hands of the top 4 or even top 6 banks is not sustainable. Yes, I know that the world over, countries tend to support a 4-tier or so system, but we need more players. The good thing is that in the banking industry in South Africa, we have about 50 players consisting of local banks, agents of foreign banks, their mutual banks, etc. So there is space to play. We can actually take in more players. The issue here is that black people must participate meaningfully in the economy, including the financial services sector and in particular the banking subsector. If you don't participate in financial services, you don't have control of what you should do to grow the economy for the benefit of the majority.
Mr. Mbatha, if you could just discuss with us some of the challenges and some of the backlogs in establishing a black-owned bank. What are some of those hurdles that are being experienced?
Well, a black bank, you cannot lobby for a license of a black-owned bank. You need to earn the license. To earn the license, you need to comply with the requirements of the Register of Banks. So that's where we need to look, because if there's a bottleneck, then it's got to be sorted there. If you look at the matter of VBS, its inability to take deposits, from municipalities, etc. That's got to do with the kind of a license that they have. They don't have a commercial banking license. But if they had it, if they complied with the requirements of having it, then we would not be sitting with a big problem.
Yes, Mr. Mbatha, would you say that even, I beg your pardon, that policy reform is something to be ventilated in the sense that the rigidity thereof already puts a black bank or participant at a disadvantage because of the historical capital injection, support, and even legislation at the time in establishing these enterprises?
And that's why state-owned institutions such as the PIC, for example, to some extent the NEF, although they don't really have the capital, must play a role in realizing this dream of having a black-owned bank. But the clients of this black-owned bank must first and foremost be the state.
All right, let's just quickly move on to, you were saying that there were low-hanging fruit, so to speak, that there is a black, or rather the Post Bank or even the functions of the National Empowerment Fund. And looking at the cooperative banks, for example, we know that in Orania they have a currency that circulates around those communities, and yet you don't find that in black areas. Why, in your view, is that not expedited as a means of already creating opportunities in the financial sector?
So our next role now as ABSIP, through our think tank, is to look at options. What you are putting to us now is one of the options that we will definitely consider, because this dream must be realized. So we will look into that. It's one of the options, definitely.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. That is the Association of Black Securities and Investment Professionals. Their president, SibongisenI Mbatha, joining us on the line on their successful meeting, as he calls it, with the stakeholders in realizing the dream of having a black-owned and managed bank.